Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, I'm only 30 minutes late to the show, but at least I'm on the show. So, thanks for hanging out and waiting. You're very patient. I got a little bit. I was looking at this BitCoin thing, and I was doing some slides, and then I got a call from Pueblo, Colorado, and basically said, "Well, where are you? What's you doing?" Well, I was preparing the show, and I kind of messed up there a little bit. So, thanks for being kind and not screaming too much. Great. Well, it's an interesting day. The market is in a confirmed uptrend. And that is a good thing. When this slide was taken just a few minutes ago, the S&P was up a little bit, and the Dow Jones, and that's key, is over 30,000. So that's looking pretty good too. So, I don't know. It's just hard to get a real feel for this market. It seems to be a little bit up and down. But we hope we'll just hang in there and see what's going to happen, and to see how it's going. So I want to get into kind of what I was working on today, and that is basically Bitcoin. And it's an amazing thing because it looks like Bitcoin is it's basically over $20,000, and American Express is going to be investing in it. So that is incredible. And it's, I kind of had to make an emergency buy on the GBTC, which is of course the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and so it's interesting. I mean, I don't know exactly what's happening, but I do know that people are kind of getting nervous and saying, wow, maybe we're going to have some inflation here. So we don't necessarily want gold, but maybe Bitcoin is the way to go. So I really like the GBTC because it's a great way to hold Bitcoin. And it looks as if we're moving back in the uptrend. So here's a chart of the GBTC. Now this is it's up $2.50, which is 10%. So that's pretty good. 25.75 is the price. Now, this is, as you can see, it pulled back, and then it looks like we may be coming into a good period for the GBTC. We've had a nice volume spike on that right here, as you can see. So, let's go back to GBTC. There we go. It looks like we had this very nice volume spike. So. That's very, very positive. And of course, this is an exponential line, so it's showing above that. And as you can see, we have a relative strength of 97. So hopefully we'll be back on this trend. We pulled back, and then we started to move up. And I think that maybe this might be a situation where there might be a way to get back into this. It's a little bit high. I bought it a little extended. I would have liked to have bought it at about 21, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, and I do think it's possibly moving higher. So we'll see what's going to happen. Just kind of wanted to give you an idea of my current holdings. I'm in Cloudflare, and that's done pretty well. Tupperware is off a little bit today. I don't know. It may be curtains for Tupperware soon, but we're hanging in there. Blink Charging is up today, and of course, this is the little company that has charging stations all over the United States. As a matter of fact, there's one really close to my house. And they also acquired EasyGo, and I think that electric vehicles really are basically the story of 2020, and I think they may be the story of 2021. So this is kind of an interesting company here. Progeny, another one, it's off a little bit today. You're a little bit disappointed on that. But this one, it's like an HMO for in vitro fertilization. Very, very popular in Silicon Valley for people that want to start families, but are a little bit older, and they kind of, wasted their time in graduate school and all those other great places. So I kind of like this one too. A little, we're up again on Apple. We've moved past a key point on Apple. I put out a chart school on Apple. 125 was the key level, and now we're at 128. And I think we may be going higher. I'm looking at a target of about 137 on that. Now, the question is, will it get there before the end of the year? I doubt it, but I think it's now started back on its upward trend. As you know, Apple split 4-for-1 on the 31st of August, and that was a big deal. So, but it's pulled back ever since, really from about August 31st, really to basically this week. It's been pulling back. It pulled above that key level, that 125 level, and now it looks like it may be hopefully going higher. Also in Palantir, a little bit off on that, just about 1%. This has kind of been flopping around. I do think this one has the ability to double probably within 6 months. PLTR is that there. Up again on this genomics company. This is a Danish company, GMAB, very highly rated. Not a lot of volume, kind of not, sort of obscure. I was pulled back on Fiverr here. I was a little bit miffed on that. I did buy it right as it came above 200. It went up and it's pulled back. So that's all all good there. Now we come to the main event, and of course that's Tesla, and we're going to have some buying in there. I don't know. I may be selling this one. I'm not sure. I don't know yet. I'm unsure. I probably am gonna hold this one. I did set my stop loss down to the 21-day exponential on this one. I do have Tesla, and we'll see how it goes. Up strongly on Twilio. Twilio is just looking strong. And we're up on NEO at 44.51. Wow, that's pretty good. And of course the GBDC, that's up today as well. The Grayscale BitCoin Trust. So let's kind of look at the makeup of the small portfolio. And of course, you can get access to the small portfolio super easy by going to www.Dallas Trading Floor and signing up for the Action Trade Alerts, and that's all included in that. As you can see, I have a double position here in Fiverr. Yeah, that was kind of a disappointment, but I am up on it overall, so I'm up on everything here within the last few days. So hopefully, by pushing up the stop loss, we'll capture some of that good profit. Basically, Netflix is not Netflix. Cloudflare is my biggest winner so far. So that just kind of gives you an idea. If you want to have access to this in the watch list, super easy to do. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. All right, so without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. And I had a call today from somebody in Colorado Springs, and so they are technically first in the queue, and they're interested in seeing a company called PTEC, P-T-E-C. Let's take a look real quick and see what happened. Please see what's happening there. PTEC. And if I get it now, kind of slow here today. Let's see if I can. Well, PTEC. Yeah. Let's see if it's my machine here. Oh, goodness. There. Okay, so we're getting PTEC. Oh, goodness, why does it do that? Okay. All right, so I guess that we'll have to take that some other time. Why doesn't seem to be coming up properly? So let's go to the first question. Thanks, Kay. Good day, everyone. Jim, that's on Redfin, RDFN. Let's see if I can get my magical machine to work. RDFN. Let's look at Redfin first. There we go, Redfin. Finally. God, I was getting a little bit miffed there that it wasn't all coming up. Okay, Redfin. Let's take a look. Wow, it is pulled up. What, $4.87. That's on the daily chart. Let's go to the weekly first to kind of get an idea. Wow, this is tremendous. Look at that. Okay, the last buy point on it was a cup at 56.31. That was the last buy point. It's at 72.75, and it just pulled up just like a rocket ship. What happened? What happened? Well, somebody's big buying in there. I can tell by this little Easter egg here, and we have very good volume. So I'm not sure what's happening because their sales were down last quarter, just 1%, not a lot. 97% relative strength, so that's looking good. And we do have increasing fund ownership. And of course, That's really what pushes the stock up, is the funds. The funds, when the funds move into it, that's when, that's when the stock continues to look better. So I'm trying to find out, why is this doing so well? Look at the checklist. Well, it's 7 out of 9. That's really good. And we have increasing fund ownership, so that's really good. And let's see if I can take a look at the funds that are in this one. Let's look. Boy, there's an awful lot of funds in Vanguard Real Estate, Hartford. These are some quality funds that are in here. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So the question is, can we buy it? And if we can buy it, where can we buy it? Okay, well, it doesn't really look like we can buy it off of the buy point. It's really too far extended from that. So we have to look at kind of at the chart. Well, there's really not a place to buy it here. Here's the thing, Kay. Thank you very much for this question, by the way. It's good. It's a good question. But I don't think we can buy it right at this point because it's just a little bit too far extended. We need to make it, it's going to have to come down just a tad in order for us to be able to in order for us to really properly be able to buy it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we have a little bit of an angle here. So let's look at the channel here. Okay. Well, we're going to move the channel right up here. So it's a little bit extended. I believe it's going to come down right basically to about the $68, $69 level. So here's the thing, and this is really a tough thing to do because we've had a lot of good buying in here. I do believe what's going to happen with this one, and this is buyable, by the way, but just not at this level. I think you need to watch this and wait about a day or two, see if it pulls back to about this level here, this $68 level. If it does and it reverses, then I think you may have a buy. There's really not a place to buy this. I mean, the best place to buy this really is off of the pivot. And unfortunately, fortunately, it broke out. And when it broke out, boy, it just went up. So I do think you want to see some consolidation here. So I think you're going to have to watch this one, but that's a great that's a great one. And I'm very impressed. So RDFN, Redfin, of course, is the company, RDFN, and that's going to be watch list. So I'm probably going to put that one on the watch list. But thank you, Kay. No place to buy it right now, unfortunately. Thank you, Jim, for the previous video on the buy stop order. Okay, my question. Thank you for watching, actually. I kind of appreciate that when somebody watches. Adam, let's see. My question on Amazon moved today, and I have about 12 calls. Should I sell them or hold them? The calls are at $31.90. Let's take a look at Amazon real quick to see AMZN. And they're $31.90 calls, and I suspect that you purchased these calls and you didn't sell them, which would make sense. So let's look at the weekly chart first. And they're 31. Wow, that's pretty good. 31.90s. Okay, so the 31.90 level, let's kind of see if we can get an idea of where that's going to be. Let's go to the daily chart here. And let's see, 31.90. So I'm going to draw a line. And hopefully this is pretty close to 31.90. It's going to be right about here. Okay, so we're above that, and we pulled above that very nicely. You know what? Huh? Wow, that's sweet. I have about 12 calls. Should I sell them or hold them? Well, let's look at the trend here. That's going to tell the tale. You know what? I would hold them. I would actually hold them because I think we have a very nice trend that started here. We went down and then we found that bottom, kind of in this consolidation. We're moving higher. Now, we've moved above, well, we're not quite there yet, but the key level is going to be 32.48.95. If it moves above that, then I definitely think we've confirmed the trend to the upward. I think we're going to do that anyways. That looks like the trend reversal there. We have 94 on the relative strength, and we have the relative strength line moving up. So you know what, Adam, I think that it would be a good time to hold these. I don't think you'd want to sell these. Hold these and see if you can put in a and actually, you can do this. You can put in a stop. You can put a sell limit order in, and if and if it gets a certain price, it'll sell out. But I think you want to hold these. I really do. I think you want to hold these. That's congratulations. That's a good trade. That's a super trade that you put on there. So I would hold them. I absolutely would. I'd hold them. Let's look at brother versus brother. Let's see. What do you think about DraftKings? Yeah, wow. It moved up so nicely today. I bought some at 53.73, and I put a stop, like you said. I was thinking the buy point was 53.72. So let's look at DraftKings. DKNG. Boy, I wish I was in this one. I tell you, I wish I was in this one. 53.80. So let's see. Okay. So I was thinking the buy point was 53.72, and you bought in at I bought some shares at 53.73. Okay. Well, let's look at the daily on that. All right. Let's look at that daily chart. Yeah, the buy point is very clear here. It's a fourth stage cup with handle base. The buy point is 53.72, and you are at 53.72. So that is excellent. No, you are absolutely correct. The buy point on DraftKings is 53.72. So let's look at that chart. Let's look at that chart with that 53.72, and it's right there. You can see it. You can see it, and it's pulled just above that. So this is a good place to be right now in DraftKings. Now, where would I set the stop loss? That's the key. I would set the stop loss probably right about 49, and the reason I would is because that's this. There we go. I would set the stop loss right about there, which is about 49. And by the way, for everybody that's looking on TikTok, I'm simulcasting this with charts on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and you can see it there. And I'll put the hopefully put this up here to show you that. And by the way, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So thank you very much for that. All right. I would put my stop loss at about 49 is where I would be. That's this green line. That's the 21-day exponential. The buy point is right here at, the pivot is right here. So you bought it absolutely right. And I think that hopefully it'll pull above that and then move up to possibly as high as 64. I definitely think it's changed trend. And, it's pulled, it was in a downward trend up to the beginning of November. Now it's moving back up. So I think you're in there in a very, very good way. And again, put the stop loss at about 49, and I think you'll be fine on that. But I think you bought it at a very, very good place. So hopefully I'm right and you make lots of money and please tell all your friends, of course, we like that as well. So I've been neglecting people from TikTok, so that's not good. So let's take a look at, okay, Rotten Apple. All right, well, oh goodness. Okay, Pfizer thoughts. Well, PFE. Okay, let's look at PFE because, of course, everybody is excited about the vaccine. I am not, to be honest with you, I'm not a Pfizer fan. That's pretty good. Because of a number of things. And it really has to do with some of the technical issues on Pfizer. Pfizer is an extremely large firm. So a lot of the things about it, it tends to be kind of slow moving. Now, it has pulled back today. And these are some warning signs that I don't like about Pfizer. One of the things I don't like about it is it has this relative strength. It's a very low relative strength of about 32. So hopefully, come on. I've got to find a better way to get my pointer to show you. Well, anyways, it's a 32, and I'm not liking that. We also are having these issues regarding regarding sales. and they are decreasing. There we go. Finally got it. All right, so we've got this 32, which is not good. We have a downward trend, so that's not good. And we have this relative strength of 32. So I'm not really liking that. That's not, and this is on the weekly chart. That's not that bullish. Let's look at the checklist. 5 out of 9. Well, 6 out of 9. I'd prefer it because that's really what I like for the smell test. I like at least 6 out of 9 on that. Let's look at the ownership of the funds. That's going to be very high because this is one of the truly big cap pharmas, and it's very good there. But here's the problem that I have with Pfizer. Let's look at the daily chart. The problem I have with Pfizer is that it doesn't. It's kind of schizophrenic. It pulled to this this consolidation buy point here, but then it fell apart, and now it is headed down. So I do believe that this is a classic case, and I wanted to show you the last few days everybody's been selling. This is a classic case of buy on rumor, sell on news. And now that the COVID thing is rolling out, and there's potential competition from Moderna, I think people are selling. So I just can't recommend it, unfortunately. I mean, you would think I could, but just based on the chart, it's just it's just not there, unfortunately. Ooh, I hate to say that, but yeah. Thoughts on selling 500 to 535 puts on Tesla for tomorrow? Good question. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. Mega Homes. It can pull back, but I do think I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. Now, if you did a bull call, if you did a bear call spread, that might be something that you want to do. But just doing the puts themselves, no. You want to do a spread on this one. You've got to limit your downside risk because this thing, Tesla is like this. Tesla could literally rocket to the moon. and it would not be pretty if that happened. So I wouldn't bet against Tesla right now. That's just my thought. Just my thought on that. I just wouldn't bet against them right now. Based on what I've seen. Now, I could be very wrong, but just don't bet against Tesla. It's not a good bet. Let's look about ARK Invest. This is a question from Kevin and 711. Kevin and 711. I like that. That's a nice handle. And that's going to be ARK, ARKK. And of course, this is Kathy Woods, and she's just been a tremendous fund manager, very, very successful with her funds, and it just continues she continues to do well. So I know that you can't see this on TikTok, but I'm going to describe it. If you jump over to YouTube, you can see what I'm talking about here. But let's go to the weekly chart first on ARK Innovation. This is an ETF, and it just seems to be moving very nicely. It's got a relative strength of 94. That's excellent. There's a little Easter egg that means people are buying this thing. A lot. They're buying this thing in a lot. Now, because this is an ETF, the fund ownership obviously is not important on this because only funds of funds would own this. This is going to be mostly retail investors. So the rules on buying this are a little bit different than buying individual stocks. But let's look at the daily chart. It's just going right up here. Now, is there really a place to buy it? There really isn't. There really isn't. I mean, technically, we would want to wait for a pullback to that 10-day line, but I don't even know if it's going to get there. So it's 123.95. It just depends. I would watch this thing, wait for a pullback to probably the 21-day exponential. I mean, I know that's not very good. The last time we had a pullback to the 21-day was way back not way back. It's basically the end of October. So I'm afraid that you can't buy this one right at this moment, and that's kind of painful. I think, though, you're going to have to wait for a pullback to the 21-day line, and that is about at 118. So we're about $5 above that. Just an excellent ETF, I wanted to say. It's got 7 out of 9, but remember, this is an ETF, so the scores don't have to be as high. But 7 out of 9 on ETF is stellar, let me tell you. 6 out of 9 is typically my minimum for a stock, but But for an ETF, 7 out of 9 is very good. It's similar to about an 8 out of 9 on the regular stock trading list. So very, 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 very good. I really like this. That's a very good question. I don't think you're going to go wrong. I don't think you want to buy it right at this moment. I think you want to wait for a pullback, possibly to about the 118 range. So that would be probably a good place to buy it if you were able to get it at that level. Let's see. Okay. T-Bio is down today. Is it worth buying? I don't like to buy when they're down. I like to buy them as they're moving higher. That's why I put out the video today on sort of how to automatically buy it as it's moving higher. And that's with the stop buy limit or the stop buy order. And it's very, very helpful if you're, working and you don't have time to look at the charts all day. It's very helpful. So let's look at T-Bio, T-B-I-O, and see if it's, no, goodness gracious. No. I don't think this is one we want to be in, unfortunately. It's this one. Yeah, this one just doesn't have the right setup. It doesn't have the right setup. First of all, it's a relatively inexpensive stock. You're definitely doing good on going in for a stock that's more than $15. You want to be in stocks that are more than $15 because they're just less volatile. But this is quite volatile even for that. It's got a relative strength of 96. There's been a lot of selling. It's got no, you absolutely do not want to buy this one because here's the thing that we have, and this is what's going on it. We have a downward spike. Okay, that's not good. And we have an upward spike on the volume that are selling it. So people are selling this thing. Unfortunately, they're selling a lot of it. So for some reason, somebody big is selling it. Let's look at the checklist. 7 out of 9 is very good, by the way. And we do have some good fund ownership in it. But according to what I am looking at least for today, now let's go to the weekly chart. At least for today, we have a lot of selling going on. Yeah, and it's the same thing in the weekly chart. You know what? I'm afraid that the funds are selling this one. If you're in it, okay, that's great. Don't take any more than 7% loss. But if you're not, then you want to be careful because I don't think it's a good entry point for this. I just don't. This one may be selling off. It possibly, if it moves below the 21-day, the next stop is the 40 days. So I don't think you can buy today. You might want to watch this one, but definitely not a buy today, unfortunately. Okay, well, let's see if I can get one. I have Tesla at 627. Should I hold or sell off? Okay, everybody's been waiting for this one. Of course, I have Tesla too, and I'm a Tesla bull. Just for everyone to know, I pretty much say that all the time, and people get sick of me saying that. But I definitely think long term this is a winner. Here I am, Captain Obvious on that, but I do think it's a winner long term. So let's look of course at the monthly chart first. And of course, we always do this to check the trend. Obviously, we know what the trend is. The trend is up for Tesla. It's not for my arrow though. My arrow doesn't seem to work, but the trend is up. We still have this incredible 99 relative strength. So we're looking good there. Let's go over the daily chart. Even though you bought this relatively recently, because I know from the price you did, I still think you can hold on to this one. It possibly could fall as low as 570, but currently, at least from what I'm looking here, the trend is still upward for Tesla. So I don't know if I would sell it. Now my stop loss I would put right about there, and that's where I have my stop loss at about at a 572. I wouldn't let it probably go below that. Do I think it's going to go up? Well, it's pulling back a little bit, but I think that this one actually could go higher as the selling dries up, and I think the selling is going to dry up on this one. Just my opinion, but it may consolidate a little bit more here. But I don't think you should sell yet. But I do think you should put a stop loss at about 587. Excuse me, at about 587. Let me make sure that I did that right. I'm sorry, 571. That's where you probably want to set your stop, but I don't think you want to be out of it right now. It may pull back a little bit, but I think the general direction for Tesla, at least for the next few months, is probably up. All right. Do you think Netflix is good right now? Well, Netflix has kind of gone through a consolidation, so let's look at it. NFLX. I'm not currently in Netflix. Earlier in the year I was pretty heavily in Netflix. I did sell out. No, it just doesn't. Here, I'm going to show you the weekly chart here. And that's really the important chart. That's where you got to start looking is on that weekly chart. But it's in this consolidation. Okay, it's in this consolidation here, and that's what these bars mean. It's in this sort of consolidation area. So it's pulled below. It's still below the consolidated amount. This is a second stage consolidation with a pivot at 575. It's currently 524. Here's what I would do on this one. It does look like it's moving up. You know what? It really isn't a buy, unfortunately, until it achieves that pivot of 575. So right now you can't buy this one. You have to watch list this one, and that is painful. That is painful. Let's go back to the daily chart. As you can see, it's been moving up, but then it's been moving down too. So basically, what you have here is you have this kind of consolidating action, between these two levels, until it breaks above that line, the 575 line. Until it breaks above that, it's not powerful enough, and it could possibly retreat and go down. See, because here's the problem when you have this consolidation. Below a consolidation, it's not moving to a higher high. You want to buy a stock when it's moving to a higher high. That typically gives you the best bet. Now, unfortunately, the relative strength has fallen a lot. It's a 70. I don't typically like to buy 70s, not with a leading stock, and this is a leading stock. So I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here with Netflix right now. Let's look at the checklist. The checklist is 6 out of 9, so it's still good enough. And we have this tremendous number of funds that are in it, and some very good ones. We have 2,862 funds in it. That's a lot. That's a lot of fun. So it's definitely strong stock, but I just don't want to. If I'm entering it right now, it's not a good entry place into it. But it continues to move up in terms of sales, and that's the most important thing in a growth stock, is to see those quarter-over-quarter sales results that are better, and that's definitely what we have here. It also has a huge cash flow too, so it is definitely. It's a FANG stock for a reason, but I just don't think it's the time yet for it. I want to see it move above this buy point here. I want to see it move above this buy point, and if it does move above the consolidation at 575, then I think it's going to move higher. But until it does, it may just go sideways or possibly down. So we want to be very careful with this one. I don't think it's a buy. I think you got to watch this one right now. It's still a great stock, but stocks have seasons, and this one is out of season right now. So there you go. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's try to answer this one. I don't know if I can ask this stock, MMDEF. I don't know if I have a capability. This is a penny stock. And typically I don't cover penny stocks because I don't have access to a quote on them. That's the main reason. MED. Let's try to do this. MMEDF. Let's see if I can bring this up. Yeah, unfortunately, this is a penny stock, and I don't have access to this. So I so apologize on not being able to get access. Many stocks that are small are traded on exchanges that are not covered, and these typically are penny stocks. So I'm sorry, I can't give you a quote on that one right now because I don't have access to it either. And I may improve here for penny stocks, but right now I can't give you a quote on that. I'm sorry, I can't give you a quote on that. Let's look at BABA. That's Alibaba, of course, and that's one of the biggest. That's one of the biggest of all of the Chinese stocks, and it's been a bellwether. I mean, it's really almost a proxy for the Chinese market. But it's been trending down as of late, and that's kind of painful. I think you got to be a little bit careful with the Chinese stocks. There are some political issues that are affecting some of the Chinese stocks, not just internationally, but also domestically in China. So you got to be a little bit careful. Here's the thing that I don't like about Alibaba right now. It's only got a 38 relative strength. I can't recommend something that has that low of a relative strength. Let's look at some of the aspects on the checklist here. 6 out of 9, so it definitely passes the spell test, and we have a tremendous number of funds that are in it. So those two things are very, very good. It's this relative strength that I don't like. It's underperforming. Unfortunately, right now with a relative strength rating of 38, it's underperforming the market, and we don't want to do that. We always want to be buying things that are outperforming the market. That's what we want to do. Right now, it's underperforming the market. It's got some very good sales growth, so that's good. And we definitely have positive cash flows. So it's a good stock. It's just that it is in a downward trend, and we don't want to buy in a downward trend. And let's look at the daily chart to kind of see where it's at. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing: it's a buy as long as it stays above. It's as long as it's moving like that and it's staying above the 200-day, the 40-day, the 21-day exponential, and the 10-day. Unfortunately, back about October, looks like 20th or so, it moved down, and as you can see now, the trend is down on Alibaba. So the relative strength is also very low. It's 38. The minimum I like to buy on a relative strength is 80. So that's not good. It made an attempt. It changed direction. It made a nice attempt, but then it got to the 21-day line, and the algo said, nope, and we're going right back down. It went right back down. So currently the trend on Alibaba is down. So do we want to buy Alibaba now? I'm not a buyer of Alibaba right now just because of that. Bad trend line. It's a trend where it's a trend going down, and it's just not something that's viable right now. Not something that's viable. Okay, let's look at a ticker sign AI. Let's look at AI. I'm not familiar with AI, so I'm getting an education here. AI. I suspect it has something to do with artificial intelligence, but I could be wrong on that. C3 AI. Yes, I know this company. Yes, this is a very interesting company, and it just came out too. So what can we do? Well, right now we can't buy it. And the reason we can't buy it is because it is just out of the gate. It got a relative strength of 1. I like to see a 30 there. So on the weekly chart, I mean, literally this thing just came out of the chute. Here's the thing about IPOs. It's not typically a good idea to buy an IPO within the first 3 months. And the reason is because typically when an IPO comes out, it sells, it moves up, and then it pulls back. That's indeed what's happened here. It went up very nicely, right out of the gate. They're off and running. And then everybody decided, well, it's time to take profit, so we'll just sell to all those suckers. And those suckers are selling. And so you can see we went way up and we went way down. So that's not good. Let's look at the daily chart here. Yeah, and so what can we do here? Well, the best thing to do sometimes is nothing. And I'm afraid that's the case with AI. I'm afraid this is the case. We can't really do anything, so the best thing to do is nothing. That's what I would do with that. What do you think about APXT? I don't know that one either. Let's try that. APXT. Oh. APXT. There we go. And that's Apex Tech Acquisition Corp. This is a blank check. I'm not a big fan of blank checks, Corks. And the reason I'm not is because I don't know what they're buying. And that's a big deal. I kind of like to know what I'm buying before I buy it. Just me. But so I can't recommend it either way, neither good nor bad. Just don't know what they're buying. And hey, it's one of those things. Okay, Palantir. This is a question from Ali John 1G. I hope I said your name right on the handle. You're coming in on TikTok. Thank you so much. And your question is about Palantir, and I'm in Palantir. PLTR. Let's look at it really quick. Palantir. Palantir Technologies. And I'm going to show you the weekly chart first. And here I'm talking about all this about don't buy an IPO until you're in it 3 months. And of course I broke that rule, so I can't blame anybody for, it's a little bit of monkey see, monkey do here. Okay, it basically is. This has been about out for 3 months. I was actually starting to buy this before, and this is the weekly chart. So we do have a little bit of time on this, but this is also 97 relative strength. So that is pretty good. This is on the weekly chart. And believe it or not, this company's been around for a while. It's been around for about 12 years. We do have some, come on, there we go. We do have some increasing sales, so that's very, very good. And by the way, Palantir signed a deal with, I think it's the World Health Organization for doing the COVID rollout, and I know that they signed a deal just recently with Greece as well, so that's pretty exciting. They are still in money-losing situation, though, but they do have good sales to Greece. Now the question is, tactically, what could we do here? Well, it looks like we are kind of consolidating right about this 21-day line. So it's really not buyable until we see a consolidation. What I would do is try to wait for a pullback to the 21-day line, and about 24 is where I would go in, where I would look at going into this one. Don't say that we're there, but if this thing pulls back to the 21-day line and reverses, then I think we have another buying opportunity. The first buying opportunity, of course, was right here, and that was at the IPO base at 1142. And I did buy it at that level, and it went up. But then I sold right before earnings, being the scaredy cat that I am, and it did pull back, and probably should have jumped right back in. I did jump right back in, but not at the best level. I think I'm in at about 21.22, so that's not too bad. But this is definitely, I think this one has the ability to double. This has the ability next year to be a $50 stock. I really believe that, and maybe even higher. So very, very good stock. I just really think you're going to have to wait on this one for another entry point. There really isn't a good entry point. There really isn't a good entry point on this one. But if you're in it, I would stay in it. Set your stop losses up. Be kind of real careful and keep moving those stop losses up. So if it does have a catastrophic failure, which it easily can, you'll be sold out at a good price. So I definitely still like Palantir, and I'm in it. So I guess, I'm in it. Okay, so let's see. What's your average hold time every time you buy a stock? Very good question. Thank you. It has to do a lot with how the stock is moving. I'm primarily a swing trader, so I like to hold basically under 90 days. I'm looking basically to find a stock that's going to move up relatively fast. I'm going to move my stop loss up with that, and then when it pulls back, I'm going to be sold out. So what I try to do in my small portfolio, and I'll show you that really quickly, is to show people how I trade. Sheets dot, and I'm going to bring that right up here in just a second. So there we go. Oh, well, there. Oh, okay. So here's the small portfolio. And by the way, that you can get access to this by going to www.Dallas Trading Floor and signing up for the trade alerts. And hopefully it'll come up with them in a second. Now, typically, my holding days, as you can see, I have Cloudflare. I've held this for 31 days. I'm up about 26% on this. The same is true with Floor and Decor. I've held that for 9 days. It's up 7%. Now, I'm not doing quite as well on Fiverr. I doubled my position on Fiverr, and I'm really not up that much. I'm only up $5. And I've held that for 7 days. So if that doesn't improve, I'm probably going to get rid of it at a little bit of a profit, but I really won't hold it long. I typically like to hold stocks anywhere from about a month to about 2 months, and I like to see about 20% gain. So this one, Cloudflare, is doing the best. I will probably be selling this one on a pullback. And that's kind of what I do. And then as the good ones come in, I try to put more into them, and then as they pull back, sell them out. So that's a lot of times my strategy, and that's sort of a swing trading strategy. And if you do this on a regular basis, you can easily, and I have over the years, easily make 80, 90, even 100%, or sometimes even 200% in a year. So it can be very, very good. It can be very, very good. Jim, would you please check the Apple weekly histogram? Well, okay, maybe did I have that wrong? Well, let's look at the Apple chart. And of course, I'm in Apple too. I did move into it right when we had this opportunity pulling above 125. So currently it's at 127.81. That's where it's close to up about $5. Let's take a look on the daily to see kind of, I still think Apple is buyable at these levels. Basically, that is the breakout. It's not really a breakout. If this is a cup, and this is the short-term buy. The real buy point is 137.98. That's the real buy point, because that's the higher high. But because of this cup formation, you can buy it when it moves above that at 125.39. So it pulled back a little bit. It's pulled back a little bit today, 7 cents. But I do think that it's in this trend now, and hopefully that trend is going to move up like that. So I do think we're going to move up. Now, will it move all up at once? Probably not. It'll probably move up, pull back, move up, pull back, move up, pull back. But the general trend is upward. So I think that we're really pretty safe buying it above this 125. This is one of the reasons I use these buy stop loss orders, because I can't, unfortunately, be on it all the day, and this allows it, when it pulls above a certain price, to buy it in at that price. So if you're interested in looking and figuring out how those work, just go to the YouTube channel, www to the YouTube channel, and basically in the chart school, I did a video today on the buy stop way of automatically buying at a certain price. So that would be a good way to buy possibly something like an Apple, is doing it that way. All right, so let's get a next question. Tesla sucks. Sorry about that. Thoughts on D5, Christian? Oh, DS. I'm sorry. Yeah, I boy. DS. Thank you, Christian. Dive Shack. Huh. Okay. Operates as golf-related leisure and Drive Shack. I'm sorry, I said Dive Shack. Drive Shack. This is, I guess, kind of a competitor to Topgolf. That's a local company here in Dallas. It's kind of cool. You know what? Let's look at the weekly chart first to see if there's anything there. This is a very, very inexpensive stock. So this is a little bit more risky play. Okay, we still are in a downtrend, but there's a relative strength of 77. So I'd like to see that at 80, but still that's good. We're starting to see some nice buying pressure in there. We moved above the 200-day. I wouldn't ever buy anything below the 200-day. It's just too risky. But it looks like we may have we may be seeing a reversal here. Now, where would I buy this thing? Well, I think that you could make a half. You could kind of ease in right about here, which is about 415. So here's what I would do on this one. It's not a complete turn, but it gets you the right momentum. I would set a buy stop limit order to activate at about 415 to buy it basically right about here at 5. So I would be a buyer if it moved above 425 through 5. Now, would I normally do this? Are you going to want to do this for your whole portfolio? Absolutely not. You don't want to do it. This is very speculative because the price on this is $2.83. So this is very highly speculative. We do have some decreasing sales. Not liking that. And the checklist is a 44, which is 4 out of 9, which really isn't any good. I typically don't like to see anything less than 6 out of 9. So this isn't really an investment. This is more like a little bit of a crapshoot. This is like running the horses a little bit. But we actually do have some funds in it. So it's not all bad. It's just this is fairly risky. It also is a negative cash flow situation and decreasing sales. Now I can do negative cash flows with increasing sales, but not with decreasing sales. So very, very highly speculative here. If I was going to do it, and I'm probably not going to do this one, I would buy it at about $5 if it crossed above about 425. So that's kind of where I would that's kind of where I would be looking to buy that one. All right, so let's take another one from. Thanks everybody for looking at me on TikTok. Okay, we did ARK Invest. Let's see if we have any more. Okay. Can you tell me about NEO? Please, should I buy or not? Okay. This is a question from SammerTam01 on TikTok. And let's look at NEO. I'm actually in NEO. So I am going to look to see if there's a buy point on this thing at all. Okay, well, it looks as if, yes, we might have something kind of like a buy point, kind of like it. And that is this here. As you can see, we're up today, $2.89. Now, I was a buyer of this basically yesterday, but and it's got a lot of good things going for it. It's got that 99 relative strength, which I love. That means it's in the top 1%. It's got these huge sales, these huge sales increases here, which I love, and we have a negative cash flow, but just barely. And we have increasing funds. I really like this increasing funds thing going on here. That's a really good thing happening. Now, the question is, where could we buy it? Well, the best place to buy it would be right off of this line here, this 40-day line. Let's look at the daily chart. It didn't really pull back all the way down there. It kind of moved towards it, and then it bounced up there a little bit, and it's bouncing right above the 21-day line. That's this green line here. So it probably is buyable tomorrow. Based on this chart, it looks as if it's probably going to accelerate above the 21-day line. Now, how high could it go? Well, actually, it could go quite high. It could go, up to maybe 55 or so. But you definitely can buy this one. Here's the thing: if you do buy this one at this point, you probably the 21-day line is 44. So I definitely think you can buy it off of this line. You could buy it off this line. Try to go in with only a half position, though. Don't go in with a full position unless it moves significantly higher. Also, don't buy it as it's moving down. Always buy it as it's moving upward. So if we buy it as it's moving upward and then we push that stop loss up, then we can protect ourselves a little bit more. But this is definitely buyable. NEO is definitely buyable. And again, I'm in the stock as well. So I do think that, I was very skeptical at first about NEO. But there was some good there's good news from Goldman Sachs. They rated it quite well, and it's been pretty good. Okay, so that's NEO. Fastly, let's look at Fastly here, FSLY, and I'm not currently in Fastly. I was shaken out. FSLY, I was shaken out with my stop loss. It looks like they're pulling back up today. $1 up over $1 a share today. So that's really good. Let's look at the weekly chart. Just see if we definitely have a very nice trend here. Yeah, the trend is good. As they say, the trend is your friend, right? So the trend is upward. So I'm liking that. There was a little bit of a pullback today. This has been a down week for Fastly, but I do think that it's still, at least, let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, okay, so it bounced right off this 10-day line. So there's a definite trend here, and it's definitely moving towards that 120 range. And again, the high, of course, was 136.50, and that was right before that kind of catastrophic press conference that they had, where they lost TikTok as a client, and unfortunately there's a big sell-off. But I think that some of that may be water over the dam, because it looks like we're starting to see some nice buying once again in Fastly. Let's see if we have a good checklist still. Yeah, 7 out of 9. That's a stellar smell chart. Smell-o-vision. So that's good. We have increasing fund ownership, 243 and 320. So that's looking good as well. On the weekly chart, one of the great things we can see is, and we still have this very nice sales growth. Quarter over quarter sales growth. That's what you want to see in a growth stock, and it definitely is there. So the question is, can we really buy this thing? Well, technically, the first stage consolidation buy point is 117. I don't think that you have to buy it that high. I think you could potentially buy it at about, and I'm looking at here, I think it's buyable at about 95. Well, and we're right about 95. So I think if we get a powerful move tomorrow above about 95, I think you could buy this. So it's a little bit more speculative. Don't go in with a full position. Try a half position. And then if you buy this thing immediately, I'm really serious about that, put in a stop loss 2.5% below where you bought it. But I do think the trend is right, and I do think that Fastly is moving up. So you might have a very good winner there. You might have a very, very good winner on that. Did I not screen share properly? I have a question. Screen share. Okay. Well, I guess I'm showing. Yeah, I am. I should be. You should be able to see this on the video there. Okay, so let's see. At Sam Price, Stockmo. Okay. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the. Thank you, Tom B. Thank you very much. Thank you for following me. I was a little bit late today. I was at here at 3. I was working on that. Working on that. That thing with Bitcoin. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Sam, definitely get in touch with me, because I want to start interviewing people so we can put our heads together and make some money here. Okay, what do you think of Baba? I covered Baba. Can you do Walmart, please? Let's take Walmart for the last one today. W&T is a great company, of course. Everybody knows. I shop there. And they just, again, they really do. They do it right. WMT, I think Walmart. There we go, Walmart. Okay. Walmart's a little bit slower moving. Of course, it's in the retail space. Here I am, Captain Obvious, but just kind of go down those things. Let's kind of do this. Let's kind of do the spell test. There's several things I don't like about Walmart right now. One of the things is it has a very low relative strength. It's only a 39. But we do, and this is incredible, we actually do have, quarter to quarter sales, they're going up, which is incredible because Walmart is absolutely massive. And look at their cash flow. Look at how much money these guys are making. That is tremendous considering the price of the stock. It's $145. So it's a very profitable company. And it continues to go up. There's certain kind of red flags though for me at buying at this point, and one of them is this relative strength. But we do have a flat base on this at 151, which would mean that if we're moving up, we might have a buy point. So could we buy this thing? Yes, I think we can. But right now we don't want to buy it. Right today we don't want to buy it because we have this downtrend. Okay. I do think we're going to get a reversal right here. All right, that's typically the way it works because these things are traded with the algorithm. So I do think we're going to see a bounce. And if we're going to see a bounce, as it bounces, I do think what we're going to see probably tomorrow or towards the end of the week, but there has been a lot of selling, by the way. Once we get a bounce and it starts to move up with a blue bar here, then I think we can come in. There's a definite buy point on a flat base at 151. So if we're buying it here, we're buying it a little bit below the proper buy point. So the real place that we want to buy that is if it moves above 151.33 into this little range here called the buy zone from 151.33 on up to about a price of 144. So we're still you know, we're I mean, not 144, excuse me, until it comes up to a price of about 148, excuse me. So, so in there, So we're really, really below that right now. And we're really below that now. So here's the thing about Walmart. I don't think it's time for Walmart. I think it's time to wait on Walmart. Let it move at or above 151 on excellent volume. And then I think you might have a buy here. But right now we have to watch this so that we can't really buy it at the level it's at. It's just there's a little bit too much selling. It's not right time for it, but it probably will be shortly. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching, and thank you so much. Didn't get to everybody's question, but hopefully I got to a lot of them. Just would it would really help me out if you would go over to YouTube and subscribe to me. That would be my channel. That would be a really great thing. It really helps me with deferring some of the costs here. And of course, you don't hit that like button. We always like that. And that. Well, hopefully tomorrow I'll be on time at 2:30, but I'm on typically from 2:30 to 3:30 every market day, and I'll be on tomorrow. But until then, hope happy trading, and hopefully this holiday season is being good to everybody, and you're not locked down. And I guess you are in most of the places, not here in Texas, but seems like everywhere else they're locking people up with a key. I hope to see you tomorrow at 2:30. Till then, happy trading.